Okay guys, so what we're going to look at here is a traditional Kali drill, and we do this in Pakiti Tertia Kali, but there are several Kali FMA systems that use a similar variation of the drill. We call this Sagang Labor. It's probably more commonly known as a Hubad drill. And I'm going to kind of show you a little bit of the drill first, and then some application, because some people may sometimes not see the universal application of this drill when they're just kind of training in a traditional format. But basically, I'm going to show you the drill from more of a straight line, because this could be a drill I could be presenting high attacks, it could be presenting low attacks like knife attacks, or it could be presenting from a forward presentation of the arm that could be a punch that's being presented forward, it could be a gun that's being brought forward, it could be, like I said, it could be a knife attack that's kind of more of that medium line rather than coming from high. And it could be a grab. I'm just dealing with the arm presenting forward. So with a partner, it looks something like this. The arm's presented forward, and this is just the base variation of it, because there's lots of variations. I'm presenting forward, I'm parrying, and then I'm somehow, what we would do is hack that arm, okay? So I'm presenting parry hack, and then I'm presenting an elbow check or elbow control. As I'm doing that, I'm trying to get a little bit of an outside line, because I'm trying to get to the outside line of my opponent. And then I'll present my arm, and they'll do the same thing. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3, okay? Okay. And one of the reasons that we present the arm forward as we do this is because I'm trying to create an opening here, and that could be to get into an arm clinch position, okay? And that could be the reason why I'm trying to create this opening here. During my entry for that arm clinch, I could be delivering an uppercut, bang, as I enter in. It also is a principle of zero pressure, because if he retracted his arm at that moment, I'm trying to catch it at his body, right? And so if my arm's coming backwards, and he retracts his arm, I'm going to lose his arm. If I'm hacking forward, then I'm trying to catch his arm at that position there. So that increases my probability of being able to catch his arm if he retracts it at that moment. Okay, so now from here, looking at some of the application, it could be, again, he was presenting a gun forward towards my face, and at that moment, I'm entering it, right? So all it is just the entry, 1, 2, and then I'm trying to control the gun, okay? And so that could be my entry into facilitating several different types of disarms. It could be, say it was a knife, and again, this is a variation of the movement, but say you're doing a high attack like that. I could be going through here, and then getting underneath to control his arm. If you're doing an underhand stab, it's essentially the same motion. I'm hacking downward this time, but it's gonna be like this, okay? And I'm entering in. So I'm trying to get to the outside of his arm. In a kind of a wrestling type, grappling type application, if he's presenting the arm forward, I could be going and arm dragging also, okay? A lot of our arm drag drills, the arm is presented to the shoulder, and I'm doing this movement, but if the arm was more central or across, then I'm going here, and then looking to get into that position also. So it's a simple drill, but there's a lot of ways you can use that to apply different techniques.
I can see how it could be misunderstood, because maybe somebody who just learned the drill and is presenting it sort of the way they were taught, with a sort of a shallow understanding, shall we say. How can it look wrong? Because I've seen it just.
Yeah, getting too much into patty cake a little bit, where you're just going through the motions and now you can do this way, do it, this way, do it, and just kind of getting variation heavy without, so at some point, getting into the application. And so it could be, if you just kind of present, it's just fine, because I'm learning the hand coordination, but I'm staying very central. I'm not angling, okay, when I'm doing that. I'm not learning to control the arm. And so it's good to get the hand coordination going, but if all I'm doing is that, and then I start getting into variations of how to do these movements and whatnot, then I can start getting to the inside, and you can start getting into variations and getting very technique heavy with never getting into the application of the technique. I think that's one of the dangers, is just technique gathering and not delving deeper into how do I apply these techniques and then increasing the energy as you do it.
Yeah, so there's variations of that in Muay Thai, particularly close quarters for the clinch. Well, we use this we call it the wedge format a lot, particularly from long distance. Like if he's throwing a straight right hand, I'll use that wedge to make contact on the leg, right? So all I'm doing here is intercepting it and then making contact on the leg here. Sometimes you'll see guys go here, they'll go here and then kick the thigh, which very similar motion. You're just deflecting it, routing it here, and this is the same mechanics as the kick. And some camps, actually Muay Thai will teach this as the primary for the kick. So rather than throwing the arm, which could expose me for a big hand, we throw up a wedge here and then chop at the same time. So that's an application. We'll see it sometimes off the elbow strike. A guy goes to throw an elbow, I cover here, and then that's the motion to make contact. That one I've actually seen in a real fight on the ground when BJ Penn fought Matt Hughes. Years ago, Penn was down, and Hughes was on top of him, and Hughes went to go throw an elbow, and he went here. And then from that position, opened his guard, got out to the outside, and then started to take his back from here, and almost finished him in the fight. And it happened so fast that many people didn't see it, but it was literally a block raise, and then he trapped and came around and basically to that same seat belt or sideways position, only he did it on the ground to take it back. So it pops up even in combat sport as well.
And that says something when it becomes a commonality, right? When it's like these bridges are important, right? Why?
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, human beings have been fighting since we've been human beings. And if like someone in the Philippines and someone in Brazil and someone in Thailand found the same move and it worked in combat, then there must be something to it. It's like really important, I think, in order to look at the similarities in arts rather than the differences that tell something about the practicality of the move.
And one way to take advantage of that is one thing that we do within the TRICOM program is try and take those commonalities and build upon them across categories of combat. So to kind of simplify the learning process for an individual that may not have a lot of time to train in self-defense and combatives, if you can get a good core group of movement and show them how to apply it in many situations, I think that really simplifies and makes the learning process a little more realistic if I'm trying to accomplish retainability and functionality of technique.